Hi, Heath. I'm so excited to do this, and I've worked hard to create a little presentation about this book by Kelly McGonigal called, I always forget it, it's The Willpower Instinct. And I highly recommend the book, and just know that this video presentation is not going to be perfect. I realized that after giving it a few tries, trying to be really professional, and then I realized I just would rather not stress. So it won't be perfect. You won't want to listen to it like a million times, and I'm going to take it off the internet pretty soon. So enjoy it. This is for you, hon, and I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to eat a popsicle once in a while. All right, let's get started. Okay, I have written this down on some papers so that you can hopefully have this move faster. So I hope it doesn't sound too contrived, but really it'll help move things along if I read. So here we go. Willpower is like a muscle. If it's really strong, you have inner strength to do hard things and say no to distractions and negative choices. But if your willpower muscle is weak, you may find yourself tossed about from one distractor to another without the strength to put your foot down and simply do what you feel you should. So it needs to be strong. But luckily, because it is like a muscle, it can be strengthened. So that's cool. Assuming you know what you want in your life, you then need the willpower to help you get it. This willpower can be strengthened to the point that you can set a goal and actually accomplish it. So go on a vision walk and visualize the life you want for yourself, especially the simple things, like what it would look like to know that you're being successful. Imagine yourself getting good sleep, doing your dishes, eating healthy meals, and spending quality time with your children. So visualize that kind of stuff, but visualization is only part of it. You actually have to get the power inside to do that. And that's where this book and hopefully this video can help you. So I'll tell you a few ideas. The first one is this. It is meditation or prayer. The focus on this meditation and prayer is that you learn to retrain your brain inside your mind to do something. So, you don't have to be a monk to start to see benefits of meditating. So Kelly McGonigal says, neuroscientists have discovered that when you ask the brain to meditate, it gets better not just at meditating, but at a wide range of self-control skills, including attention, focus, stress management, impulse control, and self-awareness. People who meditate regularly aren't just better at these things. Over time, their brains become finely tuned willpower machines. Wow. Regular meditators have more gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, which is right here in front of your brain, as well as regions of the brain that support self-awareness. So, they've done studies on people, and after 3 hours of meditating, they have a lot better self-control in other, aspects of their lives. And after just 11 hours of meditation, the brain actually changes. They can detect physical changes in people. Prayer, same thing. Focusing your mind. And when your mind wanders, you bring it back to focus. And just 5 minutes a day of prayer or meditation is so valuable. One man, he was a 51-year-old electrical engineer named Andrew. He wanted to give up on meditating because he didn't think he was doing it perfectly enough. But really, as the author says, being bad at meditation is exactly what makes the practice effective. Here's how I meditate. So I focus my mind on the spot right here in the middle of my forehead. And I simply breathe slowly and think inhale and exhale. And suddenly I'll realize that my mind is thinking about laundry detergent or my friend's brother or smoothie ingredients. And I'll just have to let that issue go, fade away, and bring my mind back to focus and think inhale and exhale again. The same is true with prayer. When your mind wanders, just gently bring it back. The gently bringing back part is what will deepen your reservoir of willpower into the strength you need. How's that for infomercial? Into the strength you need to say yes to dishes and no to a second movie at midnight. All right. Okay. Next one. New popsicle. Next one. So the first way to build willpower is by meditating. The second way is so powerful that 2 researchers did some studies on this in Sydney, Australia. They had several people, I think 18 people or about there. No, the ages were between 18 and 50, and they had like 30 people. And they gave them no direction to specifically change their behavior in all these ways, but these people stopped wanting to smoke, and they started being better at not procrastinating. These people were starting to really get control of their lives, and it was only because the researchers had them do one thing: physical exercise. Okay? It was such a phenomenal change in all areas of these people's lives, and all they did was the researchers just bought a gym membership for these people and said, go as much as you can. Like, just enjoy this. And they just encouraged them to use the gym membership. So at first people were going like once a week, and then eventually they were going like 3 times a week. But just that much was enough to really help them make changes in their lives in all areas of self-control. They were just living better lives, and the only thing they were officially supposed to change was exercise. So the cool thing about exercise is that the benefits are immediate. After 15 minutes on a treadmill, cravings are reduced, and in one study in 2010, it showed that the biggest mood-boosting, stress-busting effects came from 5-minute doses of exercise, not hour-long sessions. So find what works for you. And Professor McGonigal basically says you can count anything as exercise as long as you're not sitting or standing still or lying down or eating junk food. So, on to the next. The third willpower strengthener is this. Ta-da! Sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, you become open to stress, cravings, temptation, and it becomes harder for you to control your emotions, focus attention, or find the energy to say, I will do the dishes. Without sleep, your body's glucose absorption, meaning sugar, gets altered, and your cells can't actually use the energy in the bloodstream, which leaves you feeling exhausted. So even though there's a river of blood and the blood cells need the glucose and sugar that's sitting in the stream around them, they can't actually use it properly, and so your body feels totally exhausted all the time. Also, the alarm system in your brain that freaks out when something major happens or minor happens is usually controlled and calmed down by the prefrontal cortex, which is this part of your brain in the front. But with lack of sleep, this prefrontal cortex is dulled. And it's kind of similar to being intoxicated. So, when the alarm system goes off in your brain, if you don't have enough sleep, you are going to freak out. And the prefrontal cortex won't calm things down like it usually should. The stress from your alarm bells going off stays high, and the self-control that usually is controlled by this is also low. So the good news is, even when that has just like your life for 3 days because you didn't get sleep, if you get a good night's sleep, and catch up a bit, it doesn't just catch up a little, it catches up a lot, and it reverses the problem and stabilizes your brain. Ta-da! Awesome. All right, so our fourth and final aid to building this willpower is keep your blood sugar steady. Because using self-control requires energy or glucose, so it needs to be replaced steadily for the body to keep itself going. One researcher, Matthew Galliot, wondered if giving people energy in the form of sugar would restore self-control. So he brought people to a lab where he gave them certain tasks which required self-control. Things like ignoring distractions and controlling their emotions. Before every task, he would measure their blood sugar glucose level. And he would do it again after their test or after their activity. And here is the interesting part. The more someone's blood sugar dropped during a task, the worse they did on the next task. So the people then, he would give them a drink to drink, and one of the options, or one of the things he gave, was lemonade that had sugar in it. Or he gave some people a drink with just artificial sweetener. So it didn't have energy in it. It just had sweetness, but it wasn't the energy like sugar is. And that is really interesting. Let me get this next quote up here. Ta-da! So now Galliot is a professor of Zirve University in Turkey. He has found that people with low blood sugar are also more likely to rely. Here is some of the negatives. This is what happens when your blood sugar is low. You're more likely to rely on stereotypes and less likely to donate money to charity or help a stranger if your blood sugar is low. It's as if running low on energy biases us to be the worst version of ourselves. In contrast, giving participants a sugar boost turns them back into the best versions of themselves, more persistent and less impulsive, more thoughtful and less selfish. How's that? Huh? This doesn't mean, though, that sugar and candy can be a quick fix, because the problem of spikes and crashes from sugar, binging, like you take a candy bar and you might feel great, but then you'll crash, that's a real thing. It might, help you in a pinch, but really, it's a very real problem for your body if you do that. But it does point out this study that Mr. Galliot did points out helpful things for young mothers. Number one, that I thought was cool, is that a normal day with kids requires very high levels of self-control. like ignoring distractions and controlling emotions. Those are the things he was testing with. Okay, let's give these people some difficult tasks. Basically what we do every day are difficult tasks. And that keeping one's energy high requires proper nourishment that keeps your blood sugar steady. Foods like nuts, beans, grains, cereals, fruits, and veggies will go a long way to feeding your willpower. So, hopefully these ideas could be helpful in starting to build up your reservoir of willpower. A quick review. First, prayer, meditation. Second, physical exercise. Third, sleep. And 4, keeping your blood sugar levels really even. There is so much more in this book. So I will quickly summarize some of the later chapters, and hopefully that can be helpful. Here we go. Willpower can atrophy if it's not used, if there's a lot of stress in your life, or if you're self-critical. Sometimes being good causes us to justify fudging on our goals, like, I exercised yesterday, so I can take a day off. Our brain can believe we want something, like another YouTube video, or another cookie, or it's so fine, it's okay to stay up late. But in reality, it's not what's best for us. And there's some cool things about the brain that cause us to want to do that. There are many ways to visualize our future selves and care about who will be tomorrow, like the future version of yourself. Visualizing her and thinking about helping her out is really helpful in making good decisions today. Willpower is contagious, so being around others with highly developed inner strength builds us. And that goes as far as just thinking about someone with great willpower. That can help us too. And finally, feeling bad leads to giving in. And for me, I want to close with that idea because that's been my most powerful thing to take away from Kelly McGonigal's book. Feeling bad leads us to give in because our body is stressed when we feel anxious, guilty, or disappointed. So our body just wants to feel better, so we reach for a cookie or an entertaining book or a phone call just to make us feel better. Truly though, self-forgiveness will help us feel better because we won't be feeling bad. We'll just be able to get rid of the guilt or negative feelings. And we won't be succumbing to addictions, the things that have been helping us try to feel better. So I hope that one of these ideas can be helpful to you. And I just want you to know, Hev, that I totally love you, respect you, and I've loved making this video for you. Bye now.